5 altcoins that could jumpstart your portfolio. Private members, Patreon members. I hope you're paying attention, guys, because guess what? You get all the content first before anyone else. You get all the early alpha before anyone else, and we're absolutely crushing it. I got a lot of update videos, a lot of projects I have to talk about. One of them recently is on its way to make a 10x.
Yeah, boy.
But I'm giving you guys undervalued ones that haven't really made their moves as yet.
Wait a minute.
In this video that we've covered in the past, welcome back to another episode of Crypto Spaces. My name is Joven. We're taking over the space, guys. We're going to start off right here with Lighter. Before I begin, though, I'm not a financial advisor. Remember, this is all entertainment purposes only. If you take a look at my channel right here, 6 days ago, today is currently the 24th of May, 2026. This video was unlisted for many days, at least a week before I made it public to YouTube. It went public on YouTube at May 18th, 2026. This is where the private Patreon access comes in, because you would have been able to buy the literal exact bottom here on Lighter, ticker lit at 87 cents if you are part of the private, because I was talking about this project so many times in the past.
Hi.
Okay.
I made my thesis. I read about the project. I saw that recently they had a fireside chat with Vitalik Buterin and Joseph Lubin, who are founders of the Ethereum Foundation. The team at Lighter did that fireside chat, and since that moment, it started to explode. Lighter is basically an alternative to Hyperliquid, and Hyperliquid is doing extremely well. So if you're bullish on hype and you want something that is undervalued that has privacy as well.
Yo, bro, look at this. Oh my god, bro, you don't need that. What's there to hide?
Because this is zero knowledge proofs here. I would definitely say this is a great project to add to your portfolio, because yes, it is up from when we spoke about it from 87 cents, as you could see on screen. It is up. Let me go here to CoinMarketCap here. From 87 cents to $1.30. That's a 52% move from when we spoke about it. Oh yeah. You'd be up 50% if you were paying attention, and I think Lighter will continue to crush it. I did say I think, you know, a 5x to $5 to $10 is very possible, but now I'm seeing so many people in crypto, in my crypto Twitter feed and timeline, are talking about it now. They have price projections up to $20 per Lighter. Which, oh my, wow! You know, I would be happy to see that. Their zero knowledge proofs trading platform, perpetual DEX trading platform, similar to Hyperliquid, but this is all privately done, right? With ZK technology built on Ethereum here. So as you can see, you hit start trading, it takes you to their platform, and then you see you could leverage Lighter here, all private, without anyone, you know, no government signups, none of that, no KYC, none of that, which is very bullish. You know, that's why Zcash is doing so well, because of the privacy chain that it provides, right? So you could see here, you could leverage up to 50x with Bitcoin, Ethereum, 5x on Lighter, and even 20x on Hyperliquid in the platform, right? If you're bullish on Zcash, Zcash is here. And if you take a look at their X account, they recently did a 41-minute Q1 investor update call right here for 41 minutes. It's a good watch, I personally think, right? 51,000 impressions on that. And you could also see that they're adding stocks to their platform as well, with different leverage opportunities here. So if you are, you know, you realize how well the stock market is performing to crypto, you want to get some exposure to stock trading as well, you could use Lighter to trade even SpaceX stock. I recently saw that they had SpaceX listed before the IPO goes live right here. As you could see, new RWA perp listing here with SpaceX, the first pre-IPO market on Lighter, with up to 3x leverage on SpaceX, right? Which is Elon Musk's stock, which is going to launch at around $1.7 trillion in market cap. You want to be able to trade this early? You could do that with Lighter. The next project we have is Derive. I recently covered this project. I did mention in my previous video here. Let me show you guys here. We called it on the Patreon at around 85 cents, right? We call it on Patreon. You'll see right here, 84 cents. Here's a date. Obviously, it's not public. It wasn't public May 22nd. We call it at 84 cents. I saw it was getting listed or added to Coinbase's asset roadmap. And that's why I was like, okay, I decided to research it. I saw the use case. I was like, that is very interesting. You know what use case that it has? On-chain options, right? Crypto options and futures protocol. And, you know, for example, in the stock market, you could use what is called calls and puts. But I've never seen that done in crypto before. So imagine with Derive, you know, the big stock firms, the big Wall Street institutional guys come to the space, which they've already taken it over. Governments are involved now. What if, right? Because let's scroll down. Look at how much revenue they've generated. $8.6 million in revenue. I was making a joke saying that the founder mocked me. He definitely mocked me. Look at his jawline. And nobody's really talking about this project, right? And they've generated so much revenue with their protocol, right? So imagine when all of a sudden there's more users, more people involved, more people talking about the project, just how much revenue they'll generate and just how successful that they will be, right? They also do weekly buybacks here with Derive, DRV. And if you could see right here on screen, this is their on-chain options trading platform. So as you could see, you could do calls and puts on ETH, Bitcoin, etc. Let's scroll down here. Hyperliquid, BTC, ETH, Sol, and Cardano. These are the markets that are available for now. So eventually, who's to say in the future, you see how people are super hyped when a project gets listed on Binance. Who's to say in the future, a lot of projects and companies don't reach out to Derive and be like, can you list my project? Please list my project to Derive. You know, basically the same thing here, because I've never seen on-chain options before. I know options in the stock market, calls and puts, etc. But now you could do that with Derive, which again is very unique and innovative utility here. Successful company is one that fixes problems, right? So here you go. This is it with Derive here. It's sitting at $144 million in FDV. Tokenomics are okay, not the best, but they're not that bad, right? 50% circulating. I do think $1 per Derive is definitely possible, which would put it at a, you know, 800 mil or $1.5 billion FDV, right? I think that is very possible from here. It's currently at 95 cents. I wouldn't be surprised it gets to $1, maybe $2 to $3 in the future, right? Because again, if we see on-chain perpetuals, like, you know, projects like Hyperliquid and Lighter are doing so well, on-chain options could be the next massive sector that also does well and generates a ton of revenue, ton of users, ton of positive feedback loop or a flywheel where the project experiences a ton of growth. And if you look at the chart here, look at Derive's chart. It is such a beautiful chart. That's why I fell in love with it when I saw it as well. It's just been consistently making higher lows in its own bull trend against Bitcoin and the rest of the market. October, like I said in my private Discord, October 10th was the biggest liquidation event in crypto. Derive here was at 38 cents, right? It was at 38 cents at the time on DRV, the biggest liquidation event ever, and nothing happened to the price. Derive said, hold my beer. I don't care about liquidation events. I'm going to stay strong. So this is a very strong and beautiful chart in its own uptrend, its own bull run. I think this thing could go to $1 from here, which is a 10x move. I think that's very possible, if not more. So most people are trading on-chain options here. 70 million in hype options volume. That is insane, okay? $70 million in. So let me show you guys here. So right here, you could see. Here is one of the markets that you could trade options on, which is Hyperliquid here. So $70 million has gone through in volume in options trading for Hyperliquid through DRV, right? Think about that. Look at the chart, okay? This is a protocol that is getting used, that is getting adopted, where nobody else is talking about it, but clearly the smart money are using the protocol here. And once a product is being used like this, there's revenue being generated, it has more potential for success in the future. And this is why I think this is going to do well, because a lot of people, $70 million worth of people, are trading Hyperliquid options on Derive and its protocol, right? They also do, like I said, weekly buybacks here. This was the number 67th complete buyback of Derive. Buybacks are now allocated 35% of protocol fees, up from 25%. Wow! Next project we're gonna dive into is Seeker SKR here. Seeker right now is at 1.4 cent. I spoke about this project many times in the past. I still think this thing will have great potential in the future. I still think if you're bullish on Solana, I would bet, you know, the electronic mobile phone project, or the mobile phone of Solana, the company based on that, could have great upside in the future. And obviously nothing is guaranteed, but I think this thing could potentially get to, from here, it's at 1.4 cent now. I wouldn't be surprised it could get to 10 cent to 50 cents to $1 per Seeker, right? $10.3 billion in market cap. If we compare other electronic companies like Samsung and Apple, look at how much, you know, they've exploded in the past, right? Let's go to Samsung stock, you know, because a lot of people love their Samsung phones, right? Look at that. Just absolutely parabolic from 2008 until now, just absolutely priced out everyone. You know, you can no longer get rich on Samsung stock unless you already have millions to invest. But it's just been growth, 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 growth for years, decades. Insane stuff. And the same thing for Apple stock, right? Same thing here. This is my thesis. Look at Apple stock from since you know, before the year of 2000. Look at this insane growth, just consistent upside for Apple electronics here. And you know, the innovation of the App Store, the Google Play Store, or the Google Store, Google App Store. The same thing applies here with Seeker. This is the same thesis, right? It has its own Seeker store, right? Let me go to the website and show you guys here. There's the Seeker Solana DApp Store. The Solana DApp Store built on Seeker. It has a hardware wallet built in. Developers could build games and mobile games and all kinds of different things on Solana Seeker itself. And obviously it is powered by Solana, okay? So if you're bullish on Solana's success for the long term, I would think this is more of a, you know, this is a project that it's like, if you don't want to trade leverage, for example, this is the leverage bet on Solana's ecosystem with Seeker, with their mobile phone. And again, this is my thesis here on Seeker, that because of that, you can see they have interviews as well about Seeker. People spoke about the phone, etc. And this is the token that is attached to it, bringing the full Solana mobile dev experience to Island DAO this June, so you could go from zero to shipping your mobile app. Look at that. So there you go. You could go from zero to shipping your own mobile app, right? And basically the same thing here. If you missed out on Apple and Samsung, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but if you missed those two stocks over the decades, maybe Solana and Seeker will recreate that wealth effect that took place. And as you can see, they're always active on X. The statistics show, man, 8.3 billion transaction volume, 150K plus devices. So if you believe, you know, in you know, people like Tolly, look at Tolly here. There you go, Tolly. You believe in, so I think Seeker is going to do well, right? The next project we have is Avici. Avici is the first of its kind neobank, a very innovative project here, launched through the MetaDAO launchpad, right? Sitting at $7.7 million in market cap, great tokenomics, full supply is out. Sitting right now at 60 cents per Avici. We spoke about this at around 80 cents. It's dipped since then, but it's, as you can see on the chart, it's holding this floor is holding these levels here, not doing too bad as far as price action goes. But again, a neobank, a decentralized banking system, I think would have great potential here. I think this project could potentially, you know, 5x, 10x, if not more, man. $6 per Avici back to the high. I think that's very much possible, right? All-time highs around $7. I think a move back to the high is possible here for Avici. They have users. They have people that are, you know, buying the cards. Here you go. Total spend on the cards, $500,000 here. This is their user interface here. And look at how much it's climbing since May. The total spend for Avici and their card program here just keeps increasing. $34 million in total volume, 800,000 in transactions, and 8,254 users. Look at the accumulation, the cumulative volume that has just continuously grown for Avici, right? I think this thing could do very well in the future. They're always active on XRAM here. XBT is the founder. Have something cool we're working on and want to give access to high spenders first. If you spent more than 10K on Avici cards, DM me. Avici is now on web. View your card, spend accounts, and balances on a bigger screen while private keys stay on your phone. All signing happens on mobile for better security, which is live now. Let's take a look at this video real quick. Let me mute it so I don't get copyrighted. So you can see the project here is consistently building, man. Beta-Avici.money. So now they have their web app here that they've built out. Now, Avici, I would say, is a more higher risk project, but the use case is there. Secure transactions, no KYC required, you know, instantly sign and spend. Your keys never touch the browser. Avici on web. And again, I think this project will have, you know, a great future, right? Nice UI that I'm seeing here. Withdraw to the card, top up your card, etc. Secure transactions. And this is built on Solana as well. So again, I'm just presenting projects that I think, you know, will do well as far as the market and how it's transitioning to a more institutional heavy, more utility heavy revenue. What people are focusing more on now is revenue generation. Is the project generating some type of value accrual? And Avici is doing just that. And last but not least, we're taking a look at Plasma XPL, which a lot of people boast could be the next XRP and achieve massive growth in the future. Why do people think that way? Because XPL Plasma is basically the ultimate layer, financial layer for stablecoin adoption, stablecoin growth. I showed you guys a chart many times. Let's take a look here. Stablecoin adoption growth. The one thing in crypto, even if altcoins aren't going up all the time, one thing that is going up all the time is stablecoin growth, stablecoin market cap, right? So a chain, a layer one that is focused on stablecoin growth and adoption, purpose-built for stablecoins, in my opinion, should have good upside and good growth as long as they can deliver on what they're set out to do here, as long as they can deliver on their use case. Now the issue is it guaranteed? No, it's not, because right now Plasma is one of the weaker coins here, but it could be a good DCA opportunity. If you never bought it or you wanted a certain amount of Plasma, I just hit my mic, my apologies. You wanted a certain amount of Plasma. Let's say you just wanted let's say you just wanted 10,000 Plasma tokens, right? That would be $812 right now, okay? So obviously, always invest an amount that you're willing to lose. Invest an amount that you're happy, that you could accept, not happy with, but could accept in your mind, hey, I might lose this money if I invested here, so I'm just going to invest this amount, and if I lose that, I'm okay with it. That's how you're supposed to train your brain when it comes to buying dips on projects or buying the bottom up on projects that aren't performing that well, or making, you know, that are underperforming and that are on dips, or they're in a fearful spot. That's how you're supposed to invest, right? You buy the fear and then you hold an amount that you're okay with losing. You don't toss in 10, 20, 50, 100K into a project that you're not sure about and that you know is not that safe. You get some exposure that you're okay with, and then you hold, have conviction, and then if you are wrong in your thesis, you have to accept that. But if you're right, you walk away with crazy gains, right? That's the risk reward we have to take in the space. So I still think XPL here could potentially be, you know, go to back to $1, which is its all-time high, right? $1.62 is the all-time high here. So 10,000 tokens, right, for $810 could potentially become $10,000 in the future. I think XPL is a good rotation play. Say for example, you get profits in other projects, and then you have, obviously you get some profits in other projects that we've talked about and called, and then you took your profits, you paid yourself, etc. you could toss, you know, some of the percentage of those profits into XPL and hold and potentially see that move here. 10,000 XPL could potentially become, you know, $10,000 once it gets back to its highs, or, you know, even more, because guess what? It could pull an XRP and go to 100 billion market cap because stablecoin growth just keeps going up. So what if XPL, you know, Plasma keeps going up once they adopt the adoption of their stablecoin growth, you know, just keeps going up too, right? It's possible. You can't rule these things out. So fund your Plasma account from Base live now. As you can see, they're still active here. This was just a couple days ago. Tether. Look at this. Tether is literally including Plasma into their tweets. Look at this. USDT on Plasma is now live on Holdstation. This is the official Tether account. 570k followers. The official Tether. Let me show you guys. You see that yellow check mark? The official Tether, the third biggest crypto asset, even though it's a stable coin. The third biggest from Bitcoin and Ethereum, Tether, retweeting Plasma here and letting people know USDT on Plasma now available through Holdstation. Okay. USD virtual accounts live now. Look at this. USDT, USDC, ASD with ACH activating. Account created. So a virtual account to handle literally all your transactions in the XPL Plasma infrastructure and protocol. Look at that. Your USD from anyone, anywhere, anytime. Plasma 1. There you, June 2026. So that's next month. Awesome stuff. Jacob Whitman here, General Counsel at Plasma. Very active, very always building, always developing here. So like I said, I think Plasma could go back to the high. Maybe it could go to $10 in the future. $3, $4, $5, $10. Remember, XRP went to 100 billion all-time high in market cap. 100 billion. What if this thing goes to 100 billion market cap? What if, what if, you might be like, that's not possible. If they are able to deliver on their use case and they get the mass adoption from the institutions, right? And then they create a cult-like following like XRP has. What if it's possible? You can't rule these things out. But obviously, it is a higher risk project because it is underperforming. But if you do get exposure and you are up in profits, right? Take some of your profits and hold the percentage for the long term. Hold the moon bag for the long term, for Valhalla, right? Always the best bet to make. So those are the 5 projects that I think could definitely jumpstart your portfolio. I think they will do well in the future. Obviously, it is not guaranteed. I say this all the time, but I think they can do well in the future and have great multiples as far as upside goes. And as always, guys, I'm going to continue to do my best here and provide as much value as I can. If you did find value in this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It really helps out. And if you want access to early calls, early alpha, early access to content before it's anywhere else, and access to the private Discord, we have a ton of people joining the private and, you know, chatting and engaging. Just go to my channel bio by clicking my channel name or my channel profile picture. It takes you to the bio right here. Then you hit join my Patreon. As you can see, we already have 70 members. 70 members, and it's only $5 a month to do so. But you have to be fast if you're going to join, guys, because we have 100 spots. 8 spots are filled. It's going to be $10 a month moving forward after we have all the spots filled in the Crypto Elite $5 tier. Okay, so once again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Always remember to give praise and glory to the Lord God Jesus. Thank God for everything. I'll catch you in the next one.